Europe's decision to force depositors in Cypriot banks to share in the cost of the latest Eurozone bailout has sparked outrage in Cyprus and fears that a run on deposits over the weekend might spread to larger countries at risk like Spain and Italy. Under an emergency deal reached early Saturday in Brussels, the one-time tax of 9.9% is to be levied on Cypriot bank deposits of more than €100,000, or $130,000, effective Tuesday. That will hit wealthy depositors, mostly Russians who have put vast sums into Cyprus's banks in recent years. But smaller deposits will also be taxed, at 6.75%, meaning that the banks will be confiscating money directly from retirees and ordinary workers to help pay the tab for the €10 billion bailout for $13 billion. Most of the €10 billion will go to bail out Cypriot banks, which took a blow when their substantial holdings of Greek government bonds were written down as part of that country's second bailout. The island's banks are also laden with loans made to Greek companies and individuals, which have turned sour as Greece endures its fourth year of economic and financial crisis. The deposit tax, which is expected to raise €5.8 billion, was part of a bailout agreement reached in the early hours of Saturday morning after 10 hours of talks among finance ministers from Euro countries and representatives of the International Monetary Fund and the European Central Bank. The Cypriot bailout follows those for Greece, Portugal, Ireland and the Spanish banking sector, and is the first where bank depositors will be touched. Public officials in Spain and Italy did their best over the weekend to portray the situation in Cyprus as unique, and to insist that deposits in those countries remained safe. The economy of Cyprus represents not even 0.5% of the combined output of the 17 countries that use the euro. Yet the impact of this weekend's unexpected decision in Brussels to impose across-the-board losses on bank depositors could not be more far-reaching. After 5 years of bailouts financed largely by austerity-weary European taxpayers, wealthy nations like Germany and the Netherlands have decreed that from now on when a bank or country fails, it will be bond investors and perhaps even bank depositors who will be forced to pick up a big share of the bill. The measure to tax depositors has created considerable political turmoil for the newly elected Cypriot president, Nikos Anastasiades, to ask Parliament on Sunday to postpone an emergency vote until Monday amid signs that a majority of the legislature's 56 lawmakers would not approve it. That puts the entire aid package of €10 billion in jeopardy. The European Central Bank sent two representatives to Nicosia on Saturday to assure executives of Cypriot banks that the central bank was here for them, as long as the bill goes through Sunday or Monday morning, before financial markets in Europe open, said Haliki Stylianou, a press officer for the Central Bank of Cyprus. Mr. Anastasiades' cabinet met at the presidential palace Sunday with the heads of the Cypriot Central Bank and the Finance Ministry to discuss how to implement the assessment, should Parliament approve it. The government also extended a bank holiday that was put in place to try to stop the run on the banks. The holiday was supposed to end Monday night. Now, banks will not be opening their doors Tuesday, as planned. There was talk that they might not open Wednesday, either. To some degree, this policy shift was foreshadowed last month when the Netherlands forced investors of a failing Dutch bank to pay for their share of its government bailout by writing €1.8 billion worth of high-risk bonds down to zero. The strategy was the work of Jeroen Dijsselbloem, the doctrinaire finance minister of the Netherlands, who was recently tapped to lead the Eurogroup, the body of Eurozone finance chiefs that organized the Cyprus bailout. But it is one thing to wipe out bondholders, who presumably were aware that their investment carried risk. It is quite another to force a loss on depositors, including small Cypriot savers whose deposits were insured by the very government that will now try to seize part of the balance in the form of a one-time tax.